Okay, another thing I was inspired to check out today, I just got this immediate impression after reading this Mod Johnson thing that I should go to Amazon.com and look for books on spiritualism. So I go to the first page and looked at the ones that recommended for me, and one of them, of course, was one I just looked at, and that was this book on how to channel. Remember, I saw this DVD somebody put up on YouTube about this handful of channels, along with this Daryl Anka that channels Bashar, and uh, one of the channels, it wasn't Daryl Anka, somebody else. He mentioned how he had read this book, and that really got him started. And this book was called How to Channel, and so that was one that was on Amazon, and I went to the author's webpage, and apparently she had a site, so I went to the site. And wow, what a site. So the site is orindaben.com, and that's ORINDABEN, Orin DaBen, and I'll try to put a link to it too. And Orin, that's supposed to be two entities. Orin and DaBen are supposedly the two entities that I think it's this husband and wife or something, or man and woman. And the lady, Sanaya, she is the channel for this Orin, and I think the guy is the channel for DaBen. They've got all the information on the site. There's just so much of it. I haven't checked out that much. So the two channels are Sanaya Roman and Duane Packer, apparently. And so you go to the About Us section of the site. I just started checking out the first article on Sanaya, and then the book is let's see here. Opening to Channel is what it's called. Opening to Channel Journeys by Orin and DaBen, and I believe on Amazon Sanaya Roman is one author or the only author. I'll try to put a link to the Amazon page too. I may have already done that on another address, but so in a way I can if it was really some guidance from my higher self or whatever nudging me on, I can kind of see why the site seems to be terrific. Just my first impression is that there's this lady is a very effective channel and has been for many years, and they've collected the information by topic, and have a substantial portion of it for sale as free samples or free text portions on the website or sound samples and whatnot. But if you want it all, basically any given topic has a CD set that's for sale, and this kind of reminds me of the Paul Solomon site where they have tons of stuff for sale. So they have all kinds of CD sets for sale, and you can easily spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So obviously lots of opportunity for giving, being getting in the spirit of the prosperity and abundance and sharing your appreciation and everything. Or if you're in my boat, you have zero cash right now, lots of opportunity to just read the free stuff and maybe buy the book for $13, but or buy a used copy for $2 or $3, or better yet, just go to the library and get it for free, But anyway, so but no, it looks like my first impression is there's a lot of terrific stuff in there about how to get started doing your own channeling, a lot of stuff on different types of meditation, guided meditation, then some really interesting kind of side topics like artistry in various areas as channeling. And she kept mentioning that in the area of channeling, how it could manifest in terms of your art being channeled in. And I know I've touched upon that before, where it seems like, and I think a lot of the other channels have touched upon this, where a lot of our fiction and things and art and stuff actually really bears a strong resemblance to a lot of this, or really seems like it is some type of inspired and channeled stuff. And the more I get into that, I'm like a kind of, at least at this point, kind of a hobbyist composer or electronic musician, whatever. And so I've been like laying down tracks and putting together songs for like many years, and it does really seem like that, and I've read some material here or there online where they talk about how it really isn't you, you're really actually doing channeling in a sense, and I think to an extent that's true. Obviously you're not channeling concrete information, but Paul Solomon and these others, they tell us that your rate of vibration, your vibe, is like as important as all this other stuff. Heck, in the Urantia TM stuff, they're talking about how they give you these major readings. If you read the timeline, there's some ones that are key ones, and you read them, and in those readings they're saying, read this like once or twice a week and for several weeks, and just spend some time with it, because understand that this reading isn't just communicating factual information, it's expanding your consciousness. There's a rate of vibration going on here that you're interacting with when you read it. And put that together with what Paul Solomon says, and you start to realize that music, being like the more of a direct language of the soul, is in some ways more directly effective in communicating rates of vibration. And so when you're talking about channeling, obviously these more celestial entities have these more elevated levels of vibration that can help a lot of people. So I guess in that sense, if you're doing your art that way and you are being that type of channel with it, you potentially could be very effective at laying down, kind of crystallizing some of this communication into a sound recording or whatever. And the better you get at it, presumably the purer that will get, and the more effectively it will touch more people and help to they can come, just like coming back to a reading, they can come back to this tune or this album or whatever again and again, and it will serve to help do that. And actually, just on a side note, in the last year or so, I've been really struggling with what's my next step here. Now that I've been given all this new information about all these channels and stuff, the Rancho book and others, they tell you that as you, especially the Rancho book, it tells you as you go through all these various steps in your very long journey towards paradise, every step of the way, the minute you master something, you turn around and you teach it to the people right behind you, and you just keep doing that all the way up. The teaching is as much of a vital part of it, and administration works the same way. Apparently, we're heavily involved in different levels of administration all the way up to gain experience doing that as well. So I was really burdened with that kind of idea. It's like, well, what's going to be the thing that's going to be the most effective for me? Should I? And for the longest time, I thought I was like, if you read the transcript of my cultural reading I got about a year ago, I was really thinking along those lines. Should I start a church? Should I start giving lectures, seminars, and how should I be doing this? But another thing that's really been burdening me is how the Rancho book and these teaching mission, all these things, they keep talking about how over-revelation is a problem. There's a reason why these, even though apparently this quarantine is lifted on our planet or whatever, there's a reason why the celestial administration doesn't just, all come down on the lawn in front of the White House in Washington, D.C. or wherever and just lay it all out, or just, set up this huge castle somewhere and say, here we are, and here's the truth, and just boom, fly out. And when they talk about the Rancho book, they're saying there's a reason why we don't just reveal everything. There is such a thing as over-revelation, and that creates pandemonium. It takes, the whole benefit that people have from struggling through things in the process on their own is lost. I mean, there's many reasons for not revealing too much too quickly, and I guess the part about people not being ready for it and it inducing chaos or panic or adverse reactions, that really kind of resonated with me in the last 6 months or so. And so I guess I've been thinking kind of in another direction. If the music or whatever other form your art is, but in my case the music, if that can serve as a kind of effective channel in receiving this kind of elevated vibe and then crystallizing that and sending it out, or when I play live, hopefully like communicating that to other people, maybe that would be a good way to do it right now. Here I am soaking up all these elevated vibes from the Urantia book and stuff, and just by virtue of that, if I'm all high on this terrific, wonderful information and get inspired and lay down some tunes, inevitably that's kind of vibe is going to bleed into that. Perhaps that would be a good way to go about it. I don't think I'm going to suffer from over revelation from the music. Heck, my music is never going to come even close to a lot of the avant-garde kind of stuff they were making in the 20th century. So, so I don't think I'm going to singe anybody's ears or anything like that. And I definitely don't plan on playing it too loud or playing those that are too high or anything. So yeah, I feel like that's a great opportunity to just let myself rip. Another thing Cottrell said in his reading is I have a tendency to be ahead of myself, ahead of the time. So I feel like I shouldn't, yet another reason why I shouldn't just jump out there and start lambasting people with all this new information in a forceful fashion, And don't get me wrong, if somebody wants me to come around and talk about this stuff, I definitely would be willing to, but that's what I'm waiting for. I want the people to, as people come with a question, I feel like just talking about it a little bit and not pushing, that seems to be completely counterproductive. So, and as one of our listeners mentioned, that's one of the great things about the Urantia book is that, and the organizations around it, all of them, in general, people are not, proselytizing, or they're not going out and trying to peddle their religion and knocking on doors and stuff. So, this lady talks about that, which was interesting. That's the first time I really read it mentioned in that way, so specifically, and she claims that her music, which she uses as a background for all of these guided meditations and stuff, she mentions that sometimes when she does her music, she can sense this presence, a very specific type of presence, and she calls it Thaddeus, and that this Thaddeus entity is really quite specifically guiding her into making music that is more elevated than she would be making on her own. That's the way she kind of says it. And she talks about that more specifically on the site. You can check it out. So not only is that music part of the background of a lot of the meditation CDs she has, also she has them for sale, just a ton of CDs. I mean, at least 20 or maybe a lot more, I don't know. And a little bit pricey, but again, I completely understand that. You understand about the prosperity thing, you understand about abundance and how giving a little bit extra or even quite a bit extra, it can be a great opportunity for you to show your thankfulness for something, and that realize that when you do that, as long as you release it, you do it in the spirit of thankfulness and gratitude, that's going to have this positive vibe that's going to eventually come back to you. As Christ says, cast your bread upon the waters, and many days it will return to you. I'm really becoming a firm believer in that. It doesn't mean you'll be a millionaire someday, but it probably does mean, as Bashar says, that the more you get into that flow, that the more what you need when you need it to accomplish what you really want will be there, in some form. You just have to learn how to see it and stop thinking with these blinders on. It's like, I need more money, need to win the lottery, that kind of thing. So, being the penniless kind of person I always have been, to a certain extent, I can definitely appreciate that. I don't know, I've really felt that way for many years, that I don't need or want to become extremely wealthy. I just need to decide what I want to do and go for it. It's like playing, just jump from one log to the next in the stream to get to where you want to go or whatever. So yeah, check out this site. I think it's really terrific. I think there's a lot of good stuff there, and I definitely plan on getting my hands on that book about channeling at some point and trying some of the stuff, and who knows, whatever else. As I have a chance, I'll try to check out a lot of the information she has up there for free, and I'm sure that there'll be a lot that I can glean from that and maybe talk about in a future address at some point. So definitely check out the Orin and DaBen site, and share and enjoy.